Am I gonna make the YouTube?
Yeah, you will.
Sweet. I'll be watching. I'll tag.
It's Triple Crown here, Saturday, October 12th, 2024, day 2 of Nashville. You know, Friday was pretty solid. It wasn't over the top great, but it was a good start to the weekend. Saturday's usually the make or break day for the show, at least in my experience. And let me tell you, there was a lot more break and a lot of heartbreak that went on compared to make in this case scenario. It wasn't a great day for me. I still got some positives to take away from it. I'll show you kind of what went down on this very chaotic Saturday here. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Can I pull something out for you?
Yeah, I think so. The Brady. Probably pull a couple more out there soon.
All right.
I think I opened one of the
One of the things about these larger regional shows is that people will actually have dealer badges. It's easier to identify that way if you're working with a dealer. Now, do sometimes people who are not dealers get dealer badges? Yeah, it happens at every single show. But for the most part, these are people who are set up who have someone else watching their table, or even before they go set up for the day, they're going to do a lap around the show and see what they can pick up, perhaps for their showcases or shop for themselves. He pulls out 4 slabs here. What I'm going to do is add them up in my head as to what my sticker price is. Now, I think that my sticker prices are fair, so I'm going to be going off of that in terms of what the card's values are. I have it at $290 total. And kind of in my head, what I'm going to do while he looks things up and comes up with his offer is kind of predict what I think his offer is going to be. Usually, if it's another dealer on football slabs, I'm going to expect them to try to 80% me. That means it's going to be around probably $230 to $240 on his offer. That's close to what I would take. I mean, preferably I'd take like $260 on this stack, but I would settle at $250. So my counter is probably going to be $260. If I want to get right to the point, then I'm just going to come back on them at $250. But that is something that I like to do, is kind of come up in my head with what is the total of the stack. That way I'm kind of prepared once they have their offer together, and it shows that I have a little bit more confidence. I kind of have a better feel for what I'm doing and shows them a little bit more prepared as well. So let's go ahead and see what he says.
Did you get anywhere close to 200 on those?
I couldn't do that. I think my bottom on all these would be 250.
250?
Yeah.
All right, that was definitely less than what I was expecting because we were off with his initial offer, what I thought he was going to put out there. I'm just going to go right in with my best offer right away. 250 is going to be my counter, and that's going to be the best that I can do on it. I won't do 240, won't do 245, I'll do 250. Especially because it's my Jamar Chase slabs, and then guys like Brady, they sell really well, especially back in my area in Cincinnati. Those are things that I just don't want to give away. You know, I have plenty of cards, so I don't need to milk everything out of every single card, but on the guys that have more of a local interest, I am going to demand a little bit more of a premium on them.
What's your best on Jessica Brady, man?
I do 50 on it.
I'll do that.
All right.
Not ideal to take a stack of 4 cards down to 1, but the Brady for me was a profitable sale at that price. I'll gladly take that and start off the show with a sale right as general admission opens up.
So the Mookie, it's kind of all over the place. It's went a little under 300 sometimes. It's went up to 400 sometimes. So I'm asking 325 on that one.
Okay.
This one I can't find a comp on. I've looked. There's not many. I would ask maybe 40 on it.
Okay.
This one sells around 130 to 150. I'm asking 125 on that one.
Okay.
And then this one, $10.
$10. Okay. Let me take a look real quick.
Okay.
All right, this is the first walk-up of the day. I didn't have too many people looking to sell or trade on the Friday portion of the show. There was definitely a lot more action on that front come Saturday afternoon. But this gentleman has a box full of cards here. A few of his friends have some cards. I pulled out these 4 from his box, and I do like to ask up front what people are looking for on their cards. And that way they can tell me what they're thinking in their head and provide a framework for me to know instantly, okay, this is something I can work with, or I'm probably not going to get something done here. Because there are times where I'll ask people, hey, what do you have on this? and they'll tell me a number that immediately in my head I'm like, all right, that's way too much. I'm probably not even going to try on this one. Whereas, you know, the numbers that he's telling me here, they're all very reasonable. They all sound about right to me. Now, I'm still going to do my due diligence and double check prices myself because, well, things change. I don't know the last time that he looked any of these up. I don't know if something has changed one way or another. Maybe they've gone up a little bit since then, or perhaps they're a little bit less. Regardless, so I'm going to do that. I've also had times where people will tell me, oh, well, the last one did this, and they're selling it to me at a discount based off of that sale. But that one sale is more of an anomaly. It's one that doesn't necessarily reflect the true market value. Say, for example, it's a card that's sold for $400, but the previous four before that were $240, $275, $260, $280. Is it really a $400 card then? I don't know. Kind of depends on a lot of different factors. So always do your own due diligence, especially if your dealer's setting up and someone comes up to sell to you. But at least I know up front here, this person is definitely very reasonable, and it's someone who I can work with for sure.
I would do 110 on the pair for these two. I'll probably hold off on these two.
So 110 for these.
Yeah.
All the way back to like
It's gonna hurt me to let it go.
It's gonna hurt too bad. Don't let it go.
So you said 110. You 110.
Yeah.
Could you do 120?
110's gonna be my
In
best.
general, I can get a lot, but when it comes to specifics, I act like minor league baseball, so I can tell you all the
Cool. Thank you.
Done deal at 110. I get the Johnny Bench Game Used back card as well as the Miguel Cabrera Royal Rookies autograph numbered to 4,950. You know, I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary of selling cards full time this upcoming weekend, and this definitely is reminiscent of a deal that I would make back when I first started off as a full-time dealer. I guess some things never change, right?
He's got some mileage on him.
Yeah.
Still running through people though.
It's been good. I've been coaching them up every week for fantasy league.
No, good. As a Lions fan, I appreciate it. Thanks for getting him in shape.
No problem, man. Thanks, man.
Thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Take 50 on this moss.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I am guilty of being on my phones at time during the show because, well, I need to get some things done, and sometimes I'm also messaging people about various things going on outside of the show. But I do try to at least acknowledge every single person who comes up to my table, at least to the best of my ability. You saw in this clip here, I kind of said hello and had some banter with 3 different people, and in fact, one of these times it actually led to me selling that Randy Moss card I had in my case. Now, it doesn't happen every single time that I start talking with someone that it leads to a sale, but these were 3 people that, based on their body language and how fast that they were moving, they might not have stopped otherwise if I didn't just say hello to them. And you never know, someone might be having a bad day, they might not be having a great show, or just a little bit of friendly banter might lift their spirits a little bit. With that said, customer service does matter at these shows. If you ever get a table and set up, make sure that you acknowledge customers when you come up to the table. You don't have to be breathing down their neck or anything and constantly hounding them. In fact, I would recommend that you don't do that, but you can do it within reason, right? Greet them, let them know that you're there to help them, and if they need anything from there, they'll let you know. All right, in this clip, you'll notice a few people kind of walking past a little faster around this part. One of the problems I ran into on Saturday was that the AC was not working, which it didn't work last time I was here. In fact, I think the time before that, it wasn't working great either. Sometimes air conditioning is not always the best at fairground venues for shows. It is working pretty well over in the second expo building of the show. In fact, I walked over there to drop off a COM-C submission, and it was a very pleasant walk over there. I did not really want to come back to my area because it felt like it was 15 degrees hotter. So a lot of the traffic was kind of staying in those more air-conditioned areas that were kind of little pockets throughout the show. And unfortunately for me, I was not in one of those pockets, and I think that might have hurt some of the traffic that came through. But also at this point in time, I won't play the audio because it will blow up your headphones if you're listening on headphones. There's someone who lets out this big scream of joy. That's because during this clip, the ALDS Game 5 was going on. I looked down at my phone and I see in play runs on the Game Day app, and Lane Thomas had just hit his grand slam to give the Guardians a 5-1 lead over my Tigers. And that was pretty much it for my gritty tags at that point in time. They were eliminated, which definitely dampened my mood. I felt kind of deflated for the next 30 minutes or so. In fact, I don't think I recorded any clips for the time being, just because I was still sulking over that Grand Slam.
Just walking around buying sweaty men on cardboard, you know?
How much? Do you have any room on that Josh Allen?
Yeah, let's know an offer.
I was thinking like 40, 35. Think that would be...
I would do 40 on it.
I'll have to pass, but I'll come back if I go to.
You want to do 35?
I'll do 55.
All right, cool.
I'm going to control the things I can control. I can't control that my Tigers blew it. I can't control that the AC isn't working great in this part of the show. And I can't control that because of that the traffic flow might not be as good as it normally would be. But what I can do is try to push sales when I can, compromise on price where I feel it is appropriate and not detrimental to me. And that's what I kind of do with this Josh Allen. He was on the fence there between 35 and 40. I come down to 35 for him and I make a sale.
You do 70?
80's my best.
He didn't know that Christmas
Think I should?
one of them is that.
Well, then would you be gone? Is it done within the day?
Almost, yeah. Not fully. And I still have a lot of money.
I would do 80.
Isn't that cool? It's in your car.
I'll do 80.
Cool. All yours.
Thank you.
Can I look at it?
The Yamamoto?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. It's got some print lines on it. I'll just tell you that up front.
What's that?
It has some print lines on it, going up and down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can kind of see it if you tilt it in the right light.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
That Yamamoto, as well as the Judge Bowman refractor in my baseball case, were asked about several times, but ultimately all the buyers decided to pass on them due to the condition issues. I try to be as upfront as possible on all those condition issues, especially when I know that there's something glaringly obvious. I've bought way too many raw cards where they're all scuffed up and I don't realize it until it's way too late. So I try to follow the golden rule in that sense, where I'm treating others the way that I would want to be treated if I was a buyer. Does it cost me sales? Yeah, absolutely it does, but I'd rather have the reputation of being someone who is upfront about condition issues rather than someone who is trying to pull a fast one or something along those lines.
That's it? No PayPal, Zelle?
I have Zelle.
Okay, I can do Zelle. Alright, I'm curious on the Gunther auto and then this Hulk Hogan. I know the comps are lower on that, but I don't know if you have room.
Is there any 9 sales? I've only seen raw ones.
Yeah, I'm only seeing raw. Oh. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, that was the big one. I see the last comp on the Gunther, so at least the sticker's fair on that one. What are you thinking on the Hulk? Because I don't think a 9 really gives it much. Like, frankly, I'm probably going to crack it if I do buy it. I don't like 9s.
Fair.
Like, the last 2 raw, we're doing about 4.
Sounds about right. Where would you want to be at on it? I don't want to negotiate against myself on it.
No, you're all good.
No offer.
Well, it's like, so I think the cards are worth $465 to be fair.
Okay.
I want to be as close to 400 as I can with Zelle.
Let me see.
Few things about this. Number one, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I value 9s over raw. I almost misspoke there. I understand the argument of the upside of raw possibly being a 10, but let me tell you, I come across a lot of raw cards that are nowhere near close to being 10s. In fact, a lot of them I'm very confident wouldn't even be 9s if you submitted them. And furthermore, if you were to crack out a lot of 9s that you see out there, regardless of the grading company, I would argue that a lot of them, probably 2 or 3 times out of 10, would then come back a 10 if you resubmitted those same cards. It's an objective thing. It's kind of one of the many nuances of grading, but that's my opinion on that at least. The second part, I'm not a huge fan of the strategy of saying what the cards are valued at and then offering less. To me, it's something that kind of contradicts itself, because if you're telling me the cards are worth this, why would I not try to get that out of the cards? Especially if I'm the one who's the dealer and I'm being approached by a buyer. If you're going and walking around trying to sell to dealers, that's a little bit different. But in this situation, you know, I'm the seller in this case. And the third thing, saying that the prices, or the sticker price, is at least fair on the autograph compared to the color blast, you know, I think all my prices are pretty fair. They might not be exactly in line with what the buyer is thinking, but that doesn't mean that they're unfair. So I picked up on that. I wasn't a huge fan of that comment.
I think my best on this is gonna be 440, basically.
Yeah, because the last one actually just did 380 on the whole thing.
That would be like 440, so 40 and 4 is probably where I'm gonna be bottoming
You'd
out.
sell that for 40? I mean, I'd buy that for 40.
I would do it for 40 if you were buying this.
Okay, I had to clear that up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pay it. I mean, that last one did 380, so I definitely want to be around there.
That's fine. I'd hold on to it probably at that.
So what's your bottom on that?
If you just took it by itself, 50.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fine.
All right, cool.
Again, I don't think that the last sale argument is one that fully paints a picture of how a car's market looks. This time for the opposite reason, right? The last sale here might have been 380. I couldn't find that one myself. I did find one at one point in time for 332. But if you look at the Hogan on Card Ladder, all of them are pretty much around 400. There are some even into the 500s. Therefore, I think that my price is pretty fair. And again, mine's a 9. It's not raw. I don't think it commands a huge premium, but I do think it should be valued more than raw. I value 9s more than raw. So just because he doesn't value 9s like that doesn't mean that that's how it should be, right? And, you know, again, a lot of this is my opinion. I mean, no disrespect if this gentleman happens to be watching this. You know, no disrespect intended, of course. This is just the way that I feel about it and how I see the transaction.
89 raw.
How you doing?
The out of 25 is 145 raw. So I just added the premium because there are no 10s.
Right.
Yeah. What would you want to value that on?
I was thinking like 200-ish. I don't think 225 is crazy by any means.
Yeah. And what do you want to be on the pair?
260.
280? It's like 82%, something like that.
Split it would be a 270.
Splitting it would be 2.
Well, that would be a double split.
Yeah.
Let me look one more time.
Yeah, go for it, yeah. If we can find, and you didn't look through these, it's nothing crazy here, but.
This gentleman was incredibly cool to work with and really enjoyed talking with him, working out this deal. He's got 2 nice cards there I'm interested in, the Deion Sanders Auto Relic and then the Aiden Hutchinson RPA. Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it in a minute. But he and I are only $10 apart, and it's kind of close right here. It probably tells me that, you know, I need to be rethinking this deal if I am really debating over this $10. If that's really going to make or break this, then it probably is not a good sign, and therefore I decided to take a step back. I'm going to go look at his case again, kind of try to get a second perspective on things, and just try to find one more card that might tip the scales in my favor. I still want to be fair to him, of course, right? But maybe if I find something he's a little less partial to, maybe if I find something where there might be a little bit more value I can extract out of it, that's going to be what is most beneficial for me. And I'm sure he would love to make a larger sale as well. But just chopping this down to buying one card or the other, I think is not as beneficial for both of us. What's going to be more beneficial is if we make a bigger deal where I still have enough room left, and at the same time, he is able to get a price that he's happy with on his 3 cards that he's going to be selling to me.
I don't even know what these go for anymore. How much?
They're like 115 bucks.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all.
Would 350 get the job done for all 3 of them?
That puts that at like a $70 card. I'd rather take a chance and get a 10 on that. 375 puts it like 83%. I counted that at just flat 100. I think it does like 110 to 115, but so you'd be paying $85 for that, whatever, like 90 bucks for that, and then
it's close enough. You got a deal.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Am I gonna make the YouTube?
Yeah, you will.
Sweet. I'll be watching. I'll tag.
Big thank you again to this gentleman. Again, I don't give names unless it's someone who also has a YouTube channel on here, but big thank you to him for making the deal and for watching the channel. I had a lot of people come up and tell me that they enjoy the videos, and it's always very humbling to hear that when someone comes and sees me at a show and they stop by to even just say hello and that they enjoy the videos and encouraging me to keep up the good work. I mean, that's a big part of it for me when people tell me that they get something out of it. It could be entertainment value, it could be that they're learning something, it could be that it helped them with something, whatever it may be. It is truly the best compliment and one of the biggest motivations to keep putting out videos. So again, huge thank you to everyone who stopped by and even just said hello throughout the entire show. It truly did mean a lot because the day was, Saturday was a little rough, let's just put it that way. But I had to take a chance here on these cards. Did I pay a little bit more than I wanted to? Sure, I did. But again, I'm not having a great sales day. And there's this old adage that you can always buy your way out if you're not having a great show. And that's what I got to do. I got to try to buy some cards to try to help make the trip a little bit more worthwhile. It was still definitely worth it, but I needed to kind of give me that little extra boost here. I had to do something to do that. Now, unfortunately for me, after buying that really nice Aiden Hutchinson card, he went down for the season the very next day. I am a Lions fan, so it's not a huge deal. Worst case scenario, I'll keep the card. I love Hutch, fantastic player, and was really having a whale of a season to start things off. Was leading the league in sacks. He is the heartbeat of the Lions defense, and without him, I am very concerned for our season. It was definitely nice to beat the Cowboys into oblivion because I have a strong disdain for the Cowboys, but a lot of it was dampened by what happened in the third quarter to Hutch, and I feel like I'm a bad luck charm because a lot of the guys who I purchased cards of recently, or nicer cards of football-wise, have been going down with injuries, and a lot of the players who have been eliminated from playoff baseball seem to get eliminated after I buy cards of them. I bought some Tarek Skubal stuff. The Tigers get bounced. I bought some stuff of some of the Padres players. They got bounced. I think I bought a couple of Bryce Harpers, and they got bounced. I don't know what it is. If you need someone to jinx your team or the team you're playing, I'm your guy for that. It is what it is, though. Hutch will be back, and if I have to hold that card for a while, that's fine. I wish him a speedy recovery. The Lions definitely are not the same without him. Now, you might also notice in the thumbnail that there is the Oregon-Ohio State game. I am an OSU alum and an OSU fan, and they lost that game. I had to listen to it on the radio because I didn't get home in time to watch the ending. I was supposed to, but then I hit Nashville traffic. I also went down a fun little detour due to construction, trying to get off an exit for gas and food. Definitely chose the wrong exit to get off on. But there's also one more thing you might see on the image, and it's this car bumper. You might be wondering to yourself, well, why would I have that picture on there? Well, it's a funny story. When I come back home that night, I had parked my car in my driveway, and I take a different car when I travel for shows due to concerns about putting too many miles on my car. But I come back, and I was told that one of the neighbors had ordered DoorDash, and the driver came barreling down the street under the influence of some sort of stimulant, ends up crashing into a telephone pole and also subsequently knocking out the internet line for another one of my neighbors, and then backs up across their lawn and into the back of my car, which was in the driveway. Well into the driveway, right? Like pulled up near to where the garage is. I wasn't even in the state. I was 2 states away, and this happens. I couldn't really believe it when I heard the story. I got to see videos and pictures of it, but I was like, you got to be kidding me. How does this even happen? Now, thankfully, my car is fine. It is drivable. It does have some scuffing on the back. It has basically cosmetic damage. It doesn't look as pretty, but nobody was hurt, and the car is still drivable. I guess that's the silver lining on it, but it was just a day that overall really didn't go my way, but you can't win them all, right? So between the 2 losses of my teams, the loss of Aiden Hutchinson for the year, not so good sales and the damage to my car, I will take my L and we'll move on to the next video. But I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be kind.